There you are. Oh, I thought we'd have to do the show without you, Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Podcasting will be a thrill. Grandpa and chill, grandson and friends. Podcasting Grandpa and chill will be a thrill, grandson and friends. With your hosts, Grandpa Barton, Brandon Fox, Phines Jackson, and Sierra Dawes. This is Grandpa and Chill.
Okay, so Grandpa, you were asking if we think that any Republican senators are going to change their mind and vote to convict the former president.
Correct.
Um, yeah, yeah, I think so. I think politicians. I won't lump all of them in. I won't say one group or another, but I think they just go with the daily whatever is hot, whatever keeps them cool.
The
If it's
briefing, right?
yeah,
The
if
the
it's
pile
like
of papers that show up on their desk in the morning.
you look at it and go, should I be supporting Trump? Will that help me out, or will this be against Trump? They're very not. They don't have any loyalty but to themselves, I guess. So yeah, I think they'll be like, forget Donald Trump. He can go to jail.
I think they need, what is it, 17
Yeah.
Republicans to convict. If all the Democrats vote to convict, do you think they can get 17? I think they have already about 7 or something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
10,
Yeah,
10 is a lot.
That's so crazy. Isn't that so crazy? Like, he literally tried to murder you. Like he did. Like that's basically the accusation is that he tried to get a bunch of nobodies to like burst into your place of work, either rape and murder you or literally threaten your life or your body until you do what he wants. Isn't that crazy? And then they're still on the fence about it. That's what's crazy. That's what's wild. Is they're still like, "Oh, but baby, I don't think he really meant it. I think he just meant like a little treason, just this much."
He's a
he's very
thug, a
patriotic.
gangster, a
Huh?
mob boss.
Mm-hmm.
My fault. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure his supporters are like, I didn't feel like I was going to get killed or murdered or raped. And I don't feel like those people that was happening to were going to happen to either. There was just some patriotic patriots going in there and showing their American spirit. This is what America is. But I think they won't believe that anymore once they lose votes or once they don't have. I'm sure. I don't know. Politicians are not very trustworthy, in my opinion. So I don't know what they're thinking.
Well, you have to be devious to be a politician,
It's
probably.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
they just
I think you
I
have to be a crazy person to think like, oh, I'm the person to lead all people.
All of them.
Yeah.
they're going to. I guess the thing that surprised me a little bit about the hearing was that they're really putting all the blame on Trump and kind of like I don't know if that's going to affect the outcome of any criminal criminality for the people that did all this because apparently some of them thought that the election was really fixed, even though if they knew how what was really going on with all of these states certifying that the elections were proper.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That they're really holding him responsible for the whole mess. They're
And I
holding
mean,
Trump responsible.
it's a valid court case that I heard people are using is like, my president told me to do this and go here, right? So, like, and people are, defendant lawyers are saying that, right?
Well,
But
I know what would happen to black people if they said that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, quite a bit of difference the way they were treated uh,
yeah.
when they were peaceful compared with these mobsters and gang members and whatever they are.
I know what happened if I said, "Well, President Obama told me that this was rigged." Can you imagine? Can you
They would have been
imagine?
like, of course. That's what he would say.
That's just what a Kenyan would say. Like,
I I did have a question though from Brandon, what you were saying earlier about do you think it's like a personality trait for politicians? You think they're all narcissists?
There's not well, okay. There was a study I read super recently that showed that CEOs of companies have statistically way higher rates of sociopathy, of being like lacking empathy and what. And I think it's very similar position, wanting to be at the sort of top of a food chain. So yeah, I think statistically it is true.
So you think there's just there's a bunch of people in that office that are just like sociopaths?
Yeah. There's definitely at least a sociopath or two in government for sure.
So what do you think about the protesters going in there and trying to overthrow the government?
Yeah, but it was led by someone in the government who told them to, right? Like,
Yeah, I just think it's funny because it'd be like, I guess in a funny story way, like to tell it in a different way, it'd be like, we were trying to save the United States from some sociopaths.
well,
You know
that's
how
what.
politicians
Yeah,
are.
that's what I mean. Uh, yeah, it's all crazy. Like something that I wanted to ask even before maybe last week was like, uh, I thought about recently the fact that like Donald Trump approval rating wise was way slated to win before the coronavirus pandemic, and people say that he probably would have won if the pandemic never happened. Like that's a crazy thought.
I thought he was gonna win anyway. I thought he was gonna
Yeah,
win in spite of it.
it's not that crazy to me.
Well,
No.
he's probably been fighting so. He probably fought so hard to hold on to the presidency because he realized that once he was no longer president, that he can be criminally indicted and civilly, held accountable for a lot of things, and he was trying to run out the clock on the statute of limitations. So I think he would sell the whole United States and democracy down the toilet to save his own behind. That's what I think.
Yeah. Sorry, I haven't been keeping up with the news the last couple of days because I've been super busy. But if he gets impeached, like if he gets convicted, that just like isn't that usually for this? Yeah, I don't know shit, but isn't that for if you are a president, you're removed from office? So would this come with prison? Like what?
So impeachments don't. So an impeachment is not a criminal proceeding. It's a congressional proceeding, essentially. So there's no risk of him facing jail time for this. The only risks he faces is being is really just being demonstrably held responsible by the government of the United States for this act of terror. And if he is impeached and convicted and punished, he can be barred from running for president, period, ever again. So he won't be able to run in 24. He
Okay.
loses a bunch of other things. I think he loses his Secret Service protection. That's one of the things he could lose. And
I
he could
was
lose his
wondering.
$1 million a year travel budget. I didn't even know that presidents got that. He's right now he has a $1 million a year travel budget. I don't know where the hell he's supposed to be going, but that would be gone too.
Yeah,
I don't know why
which
that
is
And
got
funny.
also,
It's
it
funny because
applies
to
to
him it's
all.
nothing.
It applies the rule of not being able to hold political office in the future applies to
Yeah,
all government officials.
Mm.
yeah. So I was wondering like was this a symbolic case where it's like if he was convicted it was a good thing symbolically, but it actually does hold real weight and bearing. Like he will not be able to run again. But then
Correct.
where does the criminal court cases
Well,
come into play?
that takes place. They couldn't criminally charge him while he was president, but now they can. Now they can get into his bank accounts and
Have
see
they?
if he's laundered money. Well, Deutsche Bank and there was one other bank. I don't
They've been up
remember
in
which
there.
one is supposed to be able to is going to have to release his records. I don't know whether they have or not, but
And he has several sexual assault cases pending as well that they've been waiting to try him on.
So
They can go-
now this has started, like the criminal trial.
and
So
and
whether or
civil
not the
too.
impeachment goes through, there's a high probability that he'll be dealing with criminal cases in the near future.
Yeah, definitely.
Ain't nothing happened to that boy. He's gonna be okay. He's gonna go off scot free. He's not gonna step one step in jail. He's not going to. What's he gonna lose more money? He don't got no money. He's broke as any other. Donald Trump is okay. He's gonna be
Yeah.
fine. Nothing's gonna happen. We're wasting time and resources on things. There are people still outside hungry. Do you know that? There's people that don't have houses. There's people sleeping on the street. I can't believe it. Y'all know that?
Goddamn.
Are you a little cynical about the situation, Phines?
I'm very cynical about it. Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna get caught either, but I think it's gonna be funny to watch. I hope they keep streaming the court cases.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. I'm gonna sit there and watch it. I'm gonna be like, look at this damn fool. Nothing's gonna happen. I know somebody got arrested for nothing, and they in jail for forever. No, I don't know. I don't know anybody, but I'm sure that
Black people get arrested when they think you doing something. This man was literally on camera saying, "Now listen, all right? Now listen. Like in 2 minutes, we gonna turn around and we gonna go down that street over there. Okay? We gonna go down Pennsylvania Avenue." He said, "And I'm gonna be right behind y'all. I'm gonna be right there with you." That's what he said on camera. Like it's that meme where he's like, "They got you on 4K. They got him on 4K."
I didn't hear that. Did he say I would be there?
Yes. Okay. So that happened to me too. I had no idea. So I thought all this time. I thought for like at least a week after this had happened on the 6th. I thought that when people said that they were blaming the former president for causing this act of terror, I thought that he was saying. I thought they were saying that because he's been talking shit for like 2 years, but no. Literally in that moment, he was like having a rally like down the street, and he was like, "Listen, guys, I've had enough. We're gonna go down the street. We're gonna go down there right now. We're gonna go to Pencil Avenue, okay? And I'm gonna be right there behind you. I'm gonna be with you. We're gonna go
I didn't
down to
know he
Pencil
said
Avenue,
that.
and we are gonna make them change their minds. Damn it!"
And then I'm sure he didn't go.
And then
right?
he went in his tent and laughed and watched them commit terror for him,
Holy shit.
bro.
He tried to do a real coup.
It's
That was what it is.
crazy. You gotta find the clip. I'm gonna send you the clip after the show because he literally says, I'm gonna be right behind y'all. I'm gonna be right there."
Yo, he
It's like a parent.
He really did.
It's like a
He really
parent,
did
like
try
when the
to.
parent like pushes you off on your bike without the training wheels, and they're like, "I'm still holding on. I'm right behind you. Just keep going."
Sneaky.
Yep.
Oh,
I think I think if I got me and my friends together and did something very similar, I don't know how far I'd make it. Yeah, you're right. If I was like, hey,
Whoa.
Grandpa, Brandon, Sierra, it's time for us to. Yeah, I don't
Yo,
know how far we get.
Siri's already listening to you, and
I don't
there's like
like
a
that. I'm
flag
bleeping
on
that
your
whole thing
account
out when I
right
edit
now.
this.
Like,
I don't like that.
Okay. As long as I don't go towards the rich people, they'll let me go pretty far.
You
I can
probably
get
be-
pretty far.
Yeah.
If I
Nah,
work
bro.
on let me work on the poor groups first, and then work my way up.
There you
3 years from now, when you get a little bit of success, they're just gonna play that loop without the hypothetical part. They're just gonna
Oh,
play me and Grandpa and Brandon and Sierra are gonna go down. Like,
I'm bleeping all that out. You think I'm joking?
Yeah.
I'm bleeping all that out.
I know. I absolutely know you're not.
Well, I hope you're bleeping out a lot of things that I've been saying on the podcast.
Oh god.
I will go. Isn't that everyone's dream? Is to take over and to have power?
Saying too much.
No.
stuff, bro.
Oh,
I don't think
I
so.
could've-
No,
No.
I think a
Missed
lot of
it on
people
all
just
those-
want to have a normal, nice life.
of power.
I just.
No. That's power doesn't sound like responsibility. I don't like having power because, yeah, that sounds like even that whole saying with the Spider-Man going like, "With great powers come great responsibility,"
Well, how
And
much
that really,
responsibility? That's a lot. Yeah.
yeah, I would have, that would have stopped right then and there. I would hate to be a Spider-Man and being like, I don't think I would want Spidey senses because that would make me responsible for things. I'm like, oh man, someone's getting hurt somewhere. I should do something about it.
I don't know.
But-
Oh my god.
Well, I think the point that Trump literally threatened state officials to change the vote was is a very serious impeachable offense.
Yes.
Tell me about that, Grandpa. I didn't.
Well, he called the Secretary of
Was
State
this
of
today?
Georgia.
no, this is a minute ago.
Well,
Oh,
before the election was already completed, he called the Secretary of State of Georgia and some other states, Pennsylvania. He called the legislature when they were in session, which no president has ever done, and tried to get them to overturn the election. Like what he basically said to the Georgia Secretary of State is just get me 11,621 votes because he was down 11,620.
Yeah.
So he
Stupid.
he's like earmarking exactly what his thoughts are, and whatever.
Yeah.
But
yo,
I
if
mean
he
that
was in preschool, he'd be in the corner with a
I
little
know.
hat. Like,
And he
right.
literally, and they pointed
yeah.
this out too during the trial today, the fact that he had been talking shit about Mike Pence for like a couple weeks leading up to this, but then the day of when they were in the Capitol, they're like waiting, everybody's waiting to see what's gonna happen next. I assume everybody in this stupid tent is begging Trump to tweet out something helpful, and the first thing he tweets out is like that Mike Pence is a traitor. And that was when it started, all the chants of like hang Pence or kill Pence, like all those different chants and stuff. They were literally looking to murder the vice president, and the president was like, yeah, he sucks. Like what? And the vice president, and he still doesn't have anything to say about it. It's crazy.
And Pence stood up for him for 4 years, in the most ridiculous things that Trump did. Pence still stood up for him, knowing that that what he was doing was wrong. So,
Yeah. He reminds me of one of those movies where there's like an empty creature and then they enter a human being. And they're like, oh. Yeah.
I mean, if you get no consequences, what's
No incentive to stop.
no incentive to stop? Like, yeah, I can say whatever I want for this guy. He can, I can. I mean, what's the worst thing? What's the worst thing that's gonna happen to me?
What are you gonna do? Send an angry mob to murder me with their bare hands? I just
Yeah, I bet they didn't think that was gonna happen.
couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
I'm trying to think. Hmm. Yes.
So
Oh.
okay, so I'm off of politics for a moment. Have any of you guys seen the program I mentioned, Finding Your Roots? I think I've asked you a couple times.
No, I haven't. I don't have cable.
Terrific show.
Yeah.
I've seen clips of it, Grandpa. But before you talked about it.
I think I've only heard of the one with like the celebrities in it, because I know like some celebrity, because I heard like several years ago that some celebrities would like go on the show and want to find their roots, and then they would find out that some of their ancestors owned enslaved people, and then they'd want to like quash the show and like try to stop it from going on air. And it's like,
producer,
okay, well,
cancel it. Cancel.
unless you're an immigrant, this was almost inevitable, sir.
Well, he's very upfront about it. He's very upfront about slavery and who he has the actual records of who were the slave owners and who were the slaves and all that, and he's very upfront about it. In fact, he did one show where he showed where a white slave owner had a child by a black slave, and the child became one of his slaves, which he later gave her, released her from being a slave, which was an unusual circumstance. But the show's very interesting because they really go back way more. They do way more research than you would get like going on one of these one of these programs where you pay to have them check your background.
Who's this guy that had all slaves? Or his ancestors had them?
It's called Finding Your Roots. Hold
No,
on.
no, not the show. Who's the guy? Who's the guy that said he was up front
Let me
about
look
it?
it up because I've forgotten his name. I should know because I've watched it every week.
Because this kind of makes me think of what we were just talking about with with great power comes great responsibility. So I'm cool with him being upfront with it, but it'd be really nice if he had a TV show. If he went to the people that the ancestors of people he enslaved, and was like, "Here's 40 acres and a mule. I want to be. I want to make up for some things.
You want some
Even though it wasn't
reparations?
me. Yeah, here's reparations. I know it's not me, and I don't have to. But instead of making this TV show, I'm gonna do one better."
That's interesting. I want to watch it, but it says I need to subscribe. What am I subscribing to? Oh, I need PBS documentaries.
It's on PBS.
It's a PBS. Okay. I might get a season of this though. It does seem really interesting.
He does.
It's pretty cool hearing about your ancestry.
Yeah.
This is Henry Louis Gates Jr. Is that who you're talking about, Grandpa?
That's him. Yeah. And
How much
it
is
shows,
his
you
net
know,
worth?
How a lot of minorities were very successful. Owned a lot.
Henry Louis Gates net worth?
Yeah.
I don't think this is Bill Gates' child.
No. No, he's an older man. I mean, he's like probably in his 60s.
I know, but he's black. That's why I thought.
Yeah.
I thought somebody said that last week.
That
He has a net worth of $1 million, and he's 70.
Dang, he
Nice.
can't give me nothing. All right.
This dude is
Need
weak.
no help.
Dead.
Barely pay rent with that.
Damn. Did you guys hear about that Gorilla Glue girl?
Yes,
Yeah, I didn't understand because all of the articles talking about it talked about how she was trying to remove it, but it
Let me-
never
let me
said how
start
it got
with-
there.
Before we even get to this point,
Okay.
they have to stop saying "girl." That
I
woman
know.
is 40 years
I
old.
know.
She was 40.
I didn't realize
years
that
old.
until like a couple days ago. Yeah. Okay. So this
It's
is what
misleading.
happened.
It's misleading to call it girl.
It's very much so. So this is what happened. A grown woman has some kind of hairspray, some got to be glued hairspray, because she keeps saying that. And you know what? I'm gonna look that up because clearly this could have just been an elaborate ad campaign for this product because
Gorilla Glue.
So this woman was using a special hairspray, got to be glued hairspray, and she uses that to like maintain her hairstyle when she does something fancy, when she get her edges all done up and all this stuff. Spray that down, keep everything solid, static, so that she can go about her day. She ran out of got to be glued spray, and she said, I could just go about my business and then redo my hair after a trip to Sally Beauty Supply. Or I could use Gorilla Glue spray. So she coated her scalp in literal industrial carpenter glue. And about a month later, it was exactly the same. And she was on TikTok talking about how upset she was. And I guess she apparently she had tried everything, and her last resort was to humiliate herself, which is exactly what happened on social media, and be like, y'all, listen, I messed up bad. And she's like tapping her scalp and scraping at it and scratching at it, and it's literally not moving. It's like, it looks like it's painted onto her head. Like the hair is not moving. And then she had another TikTok where she like squirted out some shampoo and literally covered her head in shampoo, and she just took a towel and just like wiped it right off because it's a helmet now. She's just wearing a helmet. And so she finally went to the hospital after she went viral for a couple days. She went to the hospital, and the hospital's like, we could probably try to take this off, but it's going to take like 20 hours. And she said, miss me with that. I've got a better idea. We could just do this at home. It's that meme where it's like, oh, I want glue remover. We've got glue remover at home. And it's her with her friend trying to like, I don't know what she's got. If she's got alcohol or acetone, she's trying something. But at this point, what I've seen is that even a few seconds of trying to remove the stuff is like really painful on her scalp. And she's trying to salvage her hair still instead of just trying to like literally scrape off the hair and get to like free the scalp, which is what honestly I would do, because like I don't think her head has been able to sweat for a month, and that can't be helped. I don't know what's going on with her, but it's messed up.
Yeah, and Gorilla Glue is much more stronger than just a regular wood type glue.
People make chairs with that. they build furniture with it.
Can she not? She can't just shave it all off. Or...
I don't even know if you can get to that point. Like, I think there's other methods that involve just removing everything as opposed to like trying to soak it and like get the glue. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But it sounded like she's still trying to keep the hair, and I'm like, girl, you don't even want that hair. Like,
that was ridiculous.
That's
and
bad
also,
hair
like,
now.
The glue, I mean, it's like a part of the hair. Yeah. Like,
I don't even know how she got that off her. Like, it had to, like, if you're spraying glue spray, if you're spraying any spray, like, it has to go other places. So I'm wondering where the rest of
I saw the picture. It's like, it's just like a block. It's like,
it's so bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes a company that produces the product can tell you like something that would dissolve it. I don't know about that product, but sometimes they can.
Yeah, they like tried to like give her some ideas, but it's also like we've never had a grown ass person cover their scalp in this industrial glue, so it's new territory for everybody.
Their whole slogan, Gorilla Glue slogan, is like nothing can dissolve this glue. Like that's the point. It's like if you want a glue that will never come off. So
Phines, you real quiet.
Oh yeah, no, I had thoughts about it. One, I guess she should just made an infomercial of how well you can keep your edges down for a month without nothing to worry about. Anything on your head right now. Look at this shampoo, nothing. You can keep your edges straight for months. But yeah, I don't know. I was fascinated by it because I was just going down a rabbit hole of like the research. I saw that she had a GoFundMe for to get the surgery, which was only $1,500, and she ended up getting $14,000 out of it. And it's still going. And I was just like awed by how silly you could be and still come out of this with like a nice amount of money in your pocket. You know, even like I'm sure she could just soak her hair for like 23 hours. I'm sure she could just put her head in some alcohol for like 20 some hours and then cut her hair off and be bald. It probably wouldn't even cost that much money. But I still think that she's just so like, dang, I hate to call somebody so stupid, but damn, y'all. I looked down her Instagram too, and it just was, I don't know. At first I was like, she had to do this for intention, because like she went from like 20 likes on an Instagram picture to like 60,000 followers. So I was like, this has to be for the clout of it all. But I saw that she's 40 and she has kids and she had like this whole life. I'm like, I don't think you did this on purpose. I think this was an accident, for real. Then I got sad.
I think most people on Instagram, if they knew they were going to get 60,000 likes on a picture, they would purposefully put Gorilla Glue in their hair.
That's what I'm saying. I thought she got so many followers and stuff that she had to do this on purpose. But then I don't think
if they knew that they were going to get 14 grand, fucking almost everybody would do it.
But she didn't plan that. She didn't plan.
Well, sure.
I don't think she did this on purpose. Just because, one, it's so dumb. And I thought that when I first saw the video, I thought, oh my gosh, like, it's a really dumb thing to do. But, like, how could you mistake Gorilla Glue for, like, any kind of other, like, styling hairspray? But then I realized, but then I found out, like, a couple weeks later, she knew it was Gorilla Glue, but she thought she would just be able to wash it out, like, that night or the next day. So she definitely did it on purpose. But I do feel bad because I don't think she would do this on purpose, because I would never do that to my hair. I would never do that to my hair. Like, black hair does so many different things, and it's so complex. And, like, when you if you shave your head or you cut your hair, it may come back out a whole different style. Like,
yeah,
I've had family members who've had cancer and their hair is one way before they have cancer, and after chemotherapy it's a different texture. Like, everything is different. Black hair is hard. I don't think she would do that on purpose to her whole scalp.
See, this is the answer though. The Gorilla Glue. You don't have to worry about changing it ever again.
Bro,
She's innovative.
No, I felt real bad. I could see the struggle on Black Twitter the
You know
last
what?
couple. They were like,
Now that I think about it, this is a an entrepreneur that's got a good 14,000 head start on
you know
us.
what?
Everybody's gonna be doing this sooner or later.
That's how the patriarchy rears its ugly head. Y'all blaming this. Y'all telling this woman is out for a cash grab because she don't have a lot of good
No,
judgment.
no. You know what? I really thought for a second she was, but I don't think she was out for the money. I do think it's a little bit of the clout. I think she was trying to get known. I think if like you said, Brandon, if this exact same thing was like offered to someone on the table, was like, here's I'll give you $14,000 and 60,000 followers on Instagram. Would you put glue in your head? I think you get a nice amount of people who say yes.
I mean, would
Mm,
you? I mean, not even
No,
hypothetical, but like if that was offered to you, would you do it?
no, but that's just me.
that ain't even a
Gra-
year's salary above the poverty line.
Grandpa,
For a haircut, though, all you
No,
just
mm-mm,
get a
I
haircut
wouldn't do it.
afterwards. You
Grandpa,
sit
it would wash off your head immediately.
It would.
It
I don't
clearly
think so.
doesn't.
No, you keep it there for a month like she did.
No, there would be,
Just make it.
you'd have this and this looking really good, and then you just have a white glaze across your head.
I mean,
Like,
I think I gotta get mine like straight like a straight back thing, you know.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, for
No,
just for a month and 60,000 followers, you know what, Brandon? Maybe,
Are the sixty
maybe
thousand followers gonna like send me $3 on coffee or something? Like,
I might start doing GoFundmes all the time.
well, that's the thing with 60,000 followers is like they might like that's the 60,000 is that's the point where you're like, okay, maybe this is my new living. Like, how can I turn this into 600?
Ooh, better idea
14K doing
is
nothing.
to follow all those people that funded you. Like anybody that sent me a donation, I'd follow them because they are a sucker, and I can probably get a lot of money out of them. I'll send them a picture of me hitting my knee on something. I got a boo boo, and then just let see how much money I
It's
get.
very, ma'am.
Money for a band aid, $12,000 probably by the end of the night.
Yeah,
She probably gonna spend all that money on either her medical bills or like just wigs, just good wigs and stuff. Honestly,
It sounds pretty dangerous to me. Closes your pores and everything. You may lose your
mm-hmm.
hair altogether.
Ugh, girl, why you do that?
Yo, so when I first logged on, Grandpa, I heard you were talking about kvetch, but I didn't. I only caught the tail end.
When we originally talked about doing a podcast, I was going to do a show called The Kvetch, and I've been thinking about doing something like that. Just have people call in their complaints and deal with that.
Yeah, we could. You wanna do a little test run right now?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Introduce it, Grandpa.
Well, I think we all have something to complain about, and I guess maybe I'll start out by telling you my complaint. Um, my complaint is that everybody's telling me they're getting this COVID shot, and I've been signed up, and I don't seem to be able to get notified for it. And I'm 80 years old. My wife is 73, and she's got serious respiratory issues, and it would be a very bad situation if she contracted contracted the COVID-19 virus. So I'm a little annoyed about that. So you guys are all fairly young, so it's not nearly as much of a concern for you because you don't really have to worry so much about your health or long-term consequences. But you could spread it to older family members. So anybody have any thoughts on that?
I think it's terrible the way they've been rolling out or pretending to roll out the vaccine in a lot of these states. They just opened up a few more. They just expanded the like list of people who can get it in Illinois. I just saw that today. They've expanded it to a few like pre-existing conditions basically. But I was just listening on NPR earlier this week, and it was so sad because they were basically saying that even in Illinois there were elderly people and they had multiple web browsers open on their computers. They had multiple windows and tabs going at the same time, and they're just trying to hurry up and reload pages and see who can be the first person to get say you can be the first person to get the vaccine, but the website's crashing and doing all this different stuff. And it was funny at first because my first thought was, that's the same stuff my dad was trying to do to get a PS5. That's what you do when you try to get a when you try to get the new game console. You open a bunch of tabs, you go on Best Buy, Target, Walmart, and you keep refreshing things and trying to put your credit card info in and all this stuff. But then I was like, that's terrible that they're trying to do that for a life-saving vaccine. Get your shit together. Why are older people having to do this to get something that could literally save their lives? That's terrible.
Well, Sierra, do you have any complaints of your own other than what we were just discussing?
Oh,
other than the COVID situation?
let me tell you, I always have complaints. I'm gonna tell you it's a couple weeks old. I'm gonna tell you my complaint. It still irks me to this day. I watched the new Wonder Woman movie right around Christmas time. It was absolutely terrible. And I don't know why that they feel the need to tell these really confusing stories. I don't know why they feel the need to put so many different subjects and themes into a movie. When the final product comes out, when you have a movie that's like Wonder Woman 1984, whatever, you can literally see the desperation in the filmmaking process as you watch the movie, because they're so afraid that they're not going to get a sequel, they're not going to get a spin-off, they're not going to get their own little spin-off TV series, they're not going to get another movie, that they squeeze in all these different plots and all these different characters that don't make any sense together. They don't spend enough time on anything, and it just made a really bad movie. And it upset me because I really like Gal Gadot. I think she's a great Wonder Woman. I've been waiting to see a good Wonder Woman. I was really excited to see a Wonder Woman where Chris Pine's character was already dead, because he was the only thing that ruined the first Wonder Woman movie. And it was just bad. It was really bad. It was a waste of, is it Pedro Pascal? What a waste of a man. Just didn't come up to snuff. Poor film. I'm tired of watching bad movies.
And Phines, any fetches from you?
My complaints. What I got to complain about? Um, Trying to think of something worth complaining about, big enough that I got a pedestal. A stool to stand on.
Yeah, usually it's a pedestal, but on this show we have a stool.
Yeah. This little stool, the four people listening to me.
No, 50 to 60.
Okay, 50 to 60 people. My complaint is, oh man, I'm trying to make a bad joke. Let me stop.
No,
I don't want
wanna
to.
hear it.
I don't want to abuse my 50 to 60 followers and have them do any excursions of any sort.
Yeah, don't do that.
Huh?
Go ahead. I want to hear. I'm ready.
No, realistically,
Yeah.
40 to 140. That's
All right. My complaint is, I think we're spending too much money on the wrong things in the world. There's my complaint. Everyone.
Can you give us an example?
Vague and splendid. I appreciate that.
I guess a good example. I guess there's a bunch of examples. I don't know. They spend a lot of money, and they're taking away money from that space mission that Donald Trump is doing, because it's failing and they put all that billions of dollars into it. I'm like, that's fine. You don't need all that money for going to the moon. We
Not the
don't even know how to
Space
use the Earth
Force.
right. Yeah, Space Force. I don't need homeless people on the moon. There's already homeless
No.
people everywhere. I don't need. I
Space
You
don't,
gotta write that
Force.
down, dude. That's
I
a
love
good
Space
quote.
uh,
Force.
it just seems very use money. Use money better. Um, yeah, I think that's my kvetch is
So
that we should be using our resources better. I think in the grand scheme of things, we're gonna look at ourselves and go, I can't believe we were wasting our money on, I don't know, Flintstone vitamins. Um, so yeah, that's it.
All
Oh,
right.
but I like what Sierra said about quality of movie, and also like that you're worried about your life. I have a joke about your life one.
What is that joke?
um, I'm trying to make it in my head. It's kind of hard. I'm trying to get some type of retirement home for all old people to stay safe and quarantine together. But I was trying to figure out how to like just maybe that'd be the best case scenario to keep everyone safe because America doesn't know how to quarantine very well. But maybe you can do mini quarantines, like send young people to college to get educated for free so they can be quarantined, and then send old people to a place where like a nursing home, but not but a safer one.
Well, that idea for college may come about pretty soon.
Yeah, yeah. You can do that. Keep them all separated. Get them everyone that becomes a student. They can get education for free. Just get vaccinated. It'd be really easy. And then once one of them graduate, you can send them over to the old people's place to vaccinate all the old people.
There you go.
It's great.
Mm,
Do you have any complaints, Brandon?
yeah.
Brandon, what are your complaints?
um, I don't know. Based off of Sierra's complaint and Finus's complaint combined, the TV show Space Force is like the most awful thing I've ever seen.
What?
Is that a
Really?
show?
Do you liked it, Sierra?
I think my dad watched it and like I think he said it was okay. It was just more funny to see like the parallels because like I caught a glimpse of it. All I saw was the woman that was definitely supposed to be AOC. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, that's funny. Is it not
Yeah.
good?
No, it was like very heavy-handed and like not like got panned or whatever. But
Hmm.
I heard good things about Wonder Woman too. That's why I was shocked.
They're not true. Those are
Oh
lies. I don't know
wow.
where you found
Wow.
those. They're literally lies. It's so
Yeah.
bad.
It's got 59%, so it was like
It's very not good, which was very upsetting because I expected Chris Pine to not be in it because he died in the last movie, but he's
yeah.
all over the place. I
How'd he
was
come
like,
back?
he basically, and they didn't explain it well, so I'm gonna give you everybody their spoilers for this terrible movie. So basically, what happened was, so I think the first movie took place during like World War I, in like so that'd be like the 30s. So this movie takes place in the mid 80s. So in 50 years, Diana is not over this milk toast bland ass fighter pilot. And she's depressed every day, she's living her life, but it's just not enough because Chris Pine isn't there. And they get this magical wishing rock that appears in the movie and isn't explained well. And she takes the wishing rock, and just as a joke, she's like, ah ha ha ha, I wish the love of my life was back. And the
Wow.
next day, the next morning, this random ass grown man shows up who isn't Chris Pine, and he's like, Diana. And then he quotes something stupid from the first movie that he said, and she stops everything, and she's like, oh, whatever his name is in the movie. And they embrace and all that. So to her and through her eyes, it looks like Chris Pine, but to the rest of the world, it just looks like Joe Schmo. So his spirit has possessed a random man who actually is alive in the 1980s. And so they don't explain any of the ramifications of like the body snatching or if this man is dead or unconscious during the body snatching. Like he has a whole life. He's like some engineer who gets body snatched, and they don't explain, is he going to lose his job because he was gone for like 8 days hanging out with Diana? Like they don't do any of that.
Where does his body go? Where does the soul of that person's, the one that got taken over?
We have no
Um,
answers.
do you remember that one movie with the mom and the daughter that switched bodies?
Oh,
What is
Freaky
that?
Freaky
Friday.
Friday,
Freaky
yeah.
Friday. That's what this sounds like.
I love Freaky Friday. That was a good movie,
It's
I
Freaky
thought.
Friday,
Yes,
but without answering any questions.
Freaky Friday plus Wonder Woman. So it sounds like it's a way better movie
And
than.
it's Chris Pine, so it's terrible. So
Um,
upset.
I'm reading this book, The 48 Laws of Power. Has anybody heard of it?
It sounds familiar.
No.
Have you mentioned it before?
Yeah. I say that because I read it and I feel very conflicted because everything sounds very super villainy. Um, like chapter 2 is like never put much trust in your friends and use your enemies. And then chapter 3 is conceal your intentions. And it is like a
This
lot of
is
stuff like that.
this is a how-to guide, like they're telling you to do those things.
These are laws that you follow to get power.
Ugh. Wait, yeah, but saying that power is bad, not good, implying in the book.
They wouldn't
No,
teach you
in
how
this
to
book
get
is
it.
implying that power is good and these are the ways that you get it.
Yeah, fuck that
That
shit.
makes sense then, in that context. Otherwise, it just sounds unhealthy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
like the last chapter I just finished was get others to do the work for you, but take the credit. And I'm just like, I get it, but it seems very sketchy for me to be for just a book.
I, I think that it sounds accurate if you want power, but like it's not like even built into that guide, like you hear the sacrifice, right? Like
Yeah,
people will fucking hate you, and you will feel
they didn't
empty
say that.
inside.
It didn't say that. It didn't say either. It didn't
Oh,
say
it
either of
did.
those
I
things.
heard it in what you just
Well,
said in
no.
the law.
You know what I'll say though about it that I think is interesting that has me thinking is I read the preface of it and it says that everyone is looking for power. Some people are aware of it and unaware of it, and some people like think that they're not, and those people are almost more dangerous because they don't know what they're doing. They're just like trying to get power, doing and concealing their intention, doing all this stuff, but they think they're all holier than while they're doing it.
True. Interesting. I like that.
So
More
Yeah.
dangerous.
don't trust your friends and use your enemies. What do you think, Grandpa?
Well, it sounds like psychology. I don't know. I know that the thoughts on psychology have changed over the years. Uh, Sigmund Freud used to be, everything was about sex, and now the psychologists today have different thoughts about it. And I guess things change with time.
Yeah.
They,
So was
regardless
Sigmund
of what
Freud
what
just horny and they debunked it, or
well, he no, they haven't debunked him, but it's not as prevalent today in psychology. What he believed
yeah.
is not. It's still accepted, but it's not about everything. Is about this one area of life. It's life is more complicated than that.
Mm.
So I had something happen today that I just mentioned it because uh, might somehow maybe someday help you guys. I've been having problems with my iPhone 7. I had replaced it twice. They sent me free ones because it stopped functioning, and it looked like the same thing was beginning to happen today. I couldn't download anything from Google, and but I could get into my bank account with that icon. I could get into my brokerage account, but I couldn't search anything. And I took it over to a Verizon store, and all he had to do was take the screen off and clean the glass on the inside that didn't look dirty, and it functions perfectly now. This is an older unit. It's an iPhone 7 Plus, and
Oh
it's got
wow.
like a plastic screen on it. But just by opening it up and cleaning off the screen, it like totally changed the phone. As far as not having that issue anymore.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Didn't make sense to me,
Wow.
unless it's witchcraft or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Could be
weird.
both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you got it fixed.
Yeah, I was like really concerned because I didn't want to have to.
You gotta move your mic up
They try to get you to buy a
Grandpa.
new phone. Yeah. Oh, I'm
with
sorry.
the
They
mic.
try to get you to buy a new phone, and you spend $1,000 for a phone. So if it only lasts 3 years, that's like over $300 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to avoid having to do that. So that's helpful. But you guys look really chipper today. You
All
do.
right, are you being facetious?
Super
No, no, I'm
facetious.
being serious. I think maybe you're all happy that we don't
Grandpa.
have any additional guests.
I love having our guests on the show, but I did
They're
have some
listening.
sweet potato chips today, so I'm feeling
They're listening.
especially zesty.
Um, yeah, because yeah, I mean, listeners are cool. Talking to y'all all right too. Both of them are okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We haven't had an episode in a while where we have like a long time to just like talk and hang out before we have a guest. So
for
this is
real.
nice.
Yeah, yeah.
What are your like, Sierra? What
Put
is
your
your
mic up.
favorite? What kind of TV shows do you enjoy? Because you seem pretty intellectual to me. So
Um I'm really bad at watching TV because I'm bad at giving myself time to just like relax and hang out and just like watch something. But when I do, I like good anime. I like action. So I'll try almost any superhero show. I like action movies and like thrillers and things like that. Um, I love sci-fi movies. So, but lately I'm trying to look for things that are more like I'm definitely looking for more things that are diverse, and I've like decided I decided especially this year because right around New Year's I saw the Wonder Woman movie and I watched Tenet with my family, and I hated both of them. And I said this year I'm not going to give any more of my money or my attention to things that like aren't supporting what I enjoy. So I'm not going to be watching any more propaganda shows this year. I'm going to be looking at diversity in everything that I'm watching this year, and I'm going to be looking out for just things that I really want to see that I think are going to be good.
well, is Black History Month still in progress, or has that ended?
No, 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 it's all February.
It's all of it. Oh, okay. So, how would you suggest learning more about it on from TV or from reading a book or what? You know.
There may be some things. I'm sure PBS is running all kinds. I don't have cable, but I'm sure PBS is running all kinds of things. There's different places that you can look online. Like I'm sure a lot of museum websites will have information celebrating Black History. There's people sharing. There's like accounts and different people sharing info every day on Twitter to celebrate Black History Month. Um, like a common one is like what is it, Claudette Colvin or something? I think it's Claudette Colvin, who was the first woman to refuse to give up her seat before Rosa Parks, but
Oh, really? I never heard that.
yeah, she was the first woman who refused to give up her seat to a white person that we know of. And she was also arrested and removed from the bus and all this stuff. And the black leadership at the time chose not to use her story as kind of a lightning rod to advance the civil rights movement because they felt that she wasn't a very good face of the movement. And so I think it was a few weeks, or I can't remember if it was months or years later, Rosa Parks did something similar and she became one of the faces of the movement. And part of that is because of just colorism. Claudette was a much darker woman than Rosa Parks was, and part of it was just who she was. She was 15 when it happened, and she was pregnant, I believe, with her first child. And so all of that and the colorism made her not as good of a look as far as compared to Rosa Parks, who is more lighter skinned and she was older, had a job and like a more traditional family. So that's kind of how that happened. But I see stuff on like my social media all the time, and I'm sure there's other resources online and like I said, different museums and other services that are willing to share. Wait, no, 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 no. I have a plug. Shameless plug time. I was in a podcast. I was in another podcast.
The culture?
No, I
Oh, I
was
thought
on
you
a
guys were
different
on.
podcast.
Oh,
No,
okay.
listen, this is real, Brandon. I was a voice actor in a podcast created by Virginia Public Media. It's called Seizing Freedom.
Oh.
And
Cool.
I think there's only a few episodes up, but you can find it all the same places. And it's basically a retelling of different black people and enslaved people and formerly enslaved people's journeys from the Civil War to the Restoration. And it's all these different stories about how black people tried to fight in the war and how they found their freedom and what they did with their freedom as soon as they were free, and all these different facets of their life. And they've got journals and texts and quotes and newspaper articles and all these different things from that time. And so myself and like other voice actors, we basically just reenacted those quotes and those texts left by people. And so we like kind of portrayed the character. Like if you know Julie Hawkins wrote a journal, I would read that, like representing Julie Hawkins or whatever. And it's really cool. It's really informative. Like I haven't listened to it yet, but just from the scripts I received when I was recording, it's so detailed and it's so informative. Like there's one episode that's just about families, and it's all about how freed slaves would literally travel across the country to try to figure out where their children went after they were ripped away from them. Like, mothers would literally give birth to children, sometimes mixed race children, and they would immediately be like ripped away from them so that they could be sold somewhere else. And they like to sell people's children. Sometimes they wouldn't care, and they would just, send it to whoever would pay for it, and they would get on a wagon and go and be gone forever. And some people like to, breed their slaves and have their kids. They would sell the kids to like a nearby plantation. So that way they would be somewhat close, but they wouldn't be close enough to really have a bond and be able to like ever form a bond that they thought would be stronger than the hold that a slave owner would have over you. Like there's so many interesting things. It's so interesting.
Oh,
And it's very detailed. There's a lot of good history. I would highly recommend it.
that's amazing that you got on. It's called Seizing Freedom. Am I looking at it right?
Yes, Seizing Freedom.
Seizing Freedom from NPR. And what episode were you on?
I was on a couple. I can't remember all the ones I was on, but I was on at least
Got you.
3 or 4, and I voiced a couple different people or groups in each episode.
Wow,
But
that's awesome.
it's really cool. It's really interesting. There's a lot of good information on there. So I would recommend that.
Was that a backstage?
I think they found me through the African American VA database,
Got you.
I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
My knowledge of Black history is very minuscule. My wife is very knowledgeable, but I was just wondering, is there any comparison between Nelson Mandela and Martin Luther King, or is that a stupid question? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I got you. I got you for 2 comments. Um, one, the Nelson Mandela and Martin Luther King are very similar in the sense that they're both fighting for civil rights for disenfranchised group. They both are like not a mascot, but to a certain extent, like someone that the people can speak for, and are very charismatic. And they're very, smart and well renowned. But just like what you were saying about your very little knowledge of African American history, I gotta put this on white people for forever now. Y'all gotta do the research. I cannot. It's counterintuitive. First of all, because mass society doesn't really listen to black people that much, and you guys are the gatekeepers. It is not our job to let you know how you oppressed us. It's your job to go out there and find out information about how you can help. So next time on the show, you guys should be telling me something really cool about Black history and about Black America and how you're going to change it, not the other way around, because we've been tried that and it hasn't really worked very well.
You
Well,
right.
the reason I asked the question is because I had spoken with someone from Europe, and they were
Uh-huh.
not they appeared not to be as familiar with Martin Luther King as they were to Mandela, and they seemed to have more interest in Mandela than they did in Martin Luther King, and I was surprised, a European person.
That's interesting.
I feel like I'd be more interested. I mean, at this very moment, probably because I know more about Martin Luther King, but from what I learned from Nelson Mandela, I really, uh, I mean, not to rank the two of them because they're both great, but man, Nelson Mandela had a whole like continent just just looking at him and trying to get him down. Um, and he did a lot of change, and he worked on apartheid. And I mean, he was in jail for so long too. Um, and he stayed very faithful to his wife. Not that that really matters, but it's very funny.
It do. It
Yeah,
do.
I think Nelson Mandela is probably, I guess, if I was ranking my people of helping people, he's probably higher than Martin Luther King, just because Africa's huge,
I don't really know
and he
anything
was
about him. My education system continues to fail me, so I really don't know anything about Nelson Mandela, actually.
check him out. He's a big fan. Yeah, he did a lot. I mean, he's still doing a lot. I guess. I mean,
Is he
even
still
past the grave.
alive?
No, he's dead. But beyond the grave, he's still doing quite a bit.
Yeah, okay. Remember when the president. Remember when Trump said that Frederick Douglass was doing great work?
Who was he talking about?
Referring to the
Frederick Douglass, the
historical Frederick.
abolitionist.
No,
Lovely.
that makes sense.
Just lovely.
You don't remember that?
No.
Mm-mm.
I remember that. It was like a year or two ago. They're like, please say anything about Black history. He's like, my man Frederick, he's
Yeah.
killing it out here.
It's almost like it's almost like we're in a civil war here. I mean, you don't see weapons pulled out or anything, but
I can't hear you. Bring your mic up.
I said it's almost as though we're in a civil war here in the United States, in a sense.
Turn your
Yeah,
gain up too,
Two
Grandpa.
distinct mentalities.
I can do
yeah,
that.
I agree. I agree with you, Grandpa. I feel like there's way too much, just too much fighting. Like it's very. I don't know. Not that I'm tired of it. Like you said like earlier, I'm kind of cynical or kind of jaded by it all. Because I'm also I've drank the juice and I'm all about the earth and environment. And I think that like I'm just like, can we get beyond the race thing for a second so we can worry about things that are like more pressing?
Well, how do you
Drink
think
the
would be the
juice.
best way to get beyond the race thing?
Uh,
What do we need to do to get beyond that? I think a
a
lot of
really big.
a lot of people today have gotten beyond it,
I
but
think we could have a really big orgy and just get all the colors mixed
what?
together. I was just making a joke. I mean, it's like we need
Oh,
to get rid
okay.
of just try to mix the colors.
Grandpa,
So
Grandpa heard the word orgy. Yeah, I've never seen him
No, I
so
it's good.
forward.
We need sign. We need people ready to do that. I'm so ready. I'm so glad that you're ready to jump in and be one of those people that help us make
Grandpa.
Save the
this new
country.
world happen.
Save the
Even
country.
though in the climate of COVID, it may not be the best idea, but once everything clears up, yeah, we should all just come over to each other's house, hang out,
You sound like
maybe
Sigmund Freud.
have some mixed babies. They all have to be the same tint though. They can't be darker or lighter because
Oh
we
my
get
god.
buttered about that too.
You know, somebody came on here like around New Year's and they were talking
Uh,
about how we all like rallied together for I think it was 9/11. Like it was like everybody, banded together and, they're not doing that this time around. And I was like and I remember when like they said that and I was thinking like I don't know if I believe that. Like I don't think in my lifetime there's been an actual like point of unity because from my understanding now after 9/11 happened there was just all of this undue scrutiny on
Muslim.
Muslim people and
Yeah,
people of color.
absolutely.
And even
Yeah.
now we have instances, we're probably still having instances of people assaulting or harassing Asian people because
Yes,
of
the rate of Asian Americans
because of
being.
COVID
Yeah.
right now. And like I just couldn't think of a time when like people had come together in my lifetime, and like even when people seem to come together against things, we were talking about like different like terror attacks and different crazy things. Like to me, it feels like just as a black person, like we get like anywhere from 3 to 5 acts of terror a year, like at least 3 to 5 times a year. Like I just would jokingly call it like a race war, but several times a year we'll have someone, either a cop or just a regular ass person who wants to be a cop, will just come out and just murder somebody and, be proud of it, maybe get arrested at some point. And it seems like every time it's something different. Like we've had, here's more black history. We've had Tamir Rice, who literally just had a toy gun and the cops did a drive-by on him. And we've had, was it Michael Brown, who was just selling cigarettes and he got choked out. He literally was
Gardner.
choked to death. Or Gardner, I'm sorry. Brown was in Ferguson, I think. And then we had Sandra, and then there's Sandra Bland, who literally did nothing but travel to get a job. And she just, the last time anybody saw her, she was dead in a cell. Like, that stuff is terrifying because you can literally, or Breonna Taylor, like, you can literally just be minding your own business in any way. There was another woman who was playing video games, I think, with her kid a couple years ago, and they, like, broke into her house and shot her, or shot her through her window. Like, terrible
When
things
you
just happen.
when you say they, who are they? You're talking
Um,
about the police or I don't know.
Entitled white people or the police. Half of these incidences are police, and other times it's just, people that don't like us, that just see us minding our business, and they're just like, knock it off. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's crazy, and it's terrifying because, like, the fact that they have the audacity to do it because they feel like they've either done the right thing or they won't get in trouble for it, and then the fact that they never get in trouble for it, and they, even like years later, people will still be seeking justice, and then you'll get a headline in the news like 3 years later that says, "Oh, the courts have decided not to pursue charges against blah 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 blah," and it just feels even worse. Like, I had forgotten about this. This was 3 years ago. Why are you shoving it in my face now? Because people have been trying to get people will try to get justice for this stuff for years and years. Like, last week was Trayvon Martin's birthday. He would have been 26 years old last week. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, you always hear about the worst. There's a lot of white people that love black people.
Right.
A lot of them. A lot of them.
But the
Yeah.
problem is there's not there isn't enough, there isn't any accountability. There just isn't. And the fact that we live in we live in like this sort of police state where they can literally do whatever they want. They can have like the 4K body cam footage and there's no repercussions in their workforce, in their community, in their local government. They'll just, if they're especially unfortunate, they'll have to resign so they can get rehired in another jurisdiction next door. Like, there's not enough accountability. If a Muslim person or someone who looks like they could be Muslim does something wrong, everyone is screaming about, oh, where's the accountability from the community? If a black person does something wrong, it's like, where was his father? Where were the things? Why did he have to do this? Was he smoking marijuana? There's always these calls for accountability, and then when it comes to like white terror, there's nothing. There's no accountability, and I don't know where that starts. I don't know where that ends,
Yeah.
Well, there's a liberal mind and there's I guess, a non-liberal mind or a conservative mind or whatever. They're different. There's really a lot of difference in people. I happen to be married to a woman who I really believe loves black people more than she loves white people, and she's a white person. She
But
in almost
Grandpa,
every program we watch is
but it's like
yeah.
from both sides, whether you come from a liberal or a conservative mind, Grandpa, both branches of people that are white, like are benefiting from like a system, right? It's systemic. It's not about just individuals.
Yeah, I agree. And some people obviously have it much more difficult lives than others. Um, has been. I think everybody struggles in life, but the black people have been mistreated terribly in our society, and they need to be given every opportunity to, to get ahead in life. But you're always going to have people that do well and people that don't do as well, and that's just life the way it is. But every opportunity, the minorities should be given every opportunity to get ahead in life, in terms of housing and jobs and whatever. Because I think most people want to just have a nice life and be able to raise their children and have good opportunities in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I got a lot of thoughts. You know me. I study the black stuff all the time. I hang with white people most of the time. I understand the caveats of it all. At least I think I do. I'm still learning. I'm still not like super know everything. But yeah, um, not only do we need not it's not even that we need the like extra help. Because as a black person, I get a chip on my shoulder about even be looked at as like, oh man, this poor black person, he needs help. No, it's not even so much of that. I honestly just need to be set at the same table, like like the
Yeah.
same opportunities, like just the same, like no redlining and no Jim Crow laws, and just have an even playing field. I don't need affirmative action, but the fact that it's there shows you how much of a disadvantage we've been put at, and that's something that needs to change, I guess. Um, yeah, I got a lot. It's hard to talk to white people about this stuff too, because on the opposite side of it, I feel like I talk about white people in like the same way I'm sure you talk about black people, which is like, oh man, they need so much help and this and that and this and that, but then you can't just say that to them because it's like off-putting a little bit, because it's kind of disrespectful to go like for even me. I think liberal white people in general, they say like you say maybe your wife. I don't know your wife. Um, they say they may like black people more than white people, and I just have a very 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 hard time believing that. They may feel more sorry for black people than they do white people, but I don't think they love black people more than white people.
I I I
Um,
I, I'm living in an unusual situation, and I'm
yeah,
telling you, because my wife, if she puts on a TV show, it has to have a black person in the show. It has to have a main actor, and she just totally defends every black cause, and it's just her nature, and it's unusual to me because I don't know too many white people that are that way, but she is that way. She really is.
yeah. Call
Um,
it the cynical finest in me, but I'm fairly I'm a little distrusting of
well,
majority
you're a
of like
cynical guy. You're a little cynical about things in some
I'm a cynical
respects.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's okay. I'm okay. I'm open enough to be proven wrong though, and I'll be like, "Oh, egg on my face. Wow, you do love me more than white people. I'll take it." But I would not be surprised if she couldn't. If she gets me mixed up in a what's the thing? A lineup of black people, because she goes, "Oh, I don't know which one." I would also go, "Oh, I'm not surprised. I should have known."
Oh my gosh.
Not to be not that this person, because you know what, on the same end I might have the same problem. I may not be able to identify her in a lineup, but she don't gotta be worried about it as much as I do. That's where the crux of that. uh, yeah, it's just disappointing. I'm disappointed in humans for treating darker skinned people wrong, because even if I think even if policies all become the same and we get equality, to a certain extent, there'll still be the different. There'll still be the person that's darker than me. I don't like them, or the person that's fatter than me. I don't like them. And it will make their life harder because we don't like them. Um, so I don't know. Some self awareness is good. Just to be like,
There's
hey, we're all assholes.
a lot of different kinds of prejudices. I know, like
Yeah,
I've been
yeah, yeah.
telling my wife that she's getting a little heavy, and she gets really pissed off at me.
Yeah,
She like,
don't.
No wonder she. No wonder
Oh my god.
that's hilarious. Yeah, yeah. Oh, what do you guys think about Black History Month? What does it make you uncomfortable walking around and going, damn it? I have to be aware of it, or how do
Right.
you guys feel about it?
Every other month, you're like, oh, no, it's like,
Thank God it's not February.
yeah, like, oh, Valentine's Day.
You feel like you have to say sorry to everyone.
Yeah, well, it's what you said before, right? The hesitancy to not want to offend or feel like you're like requiring something of the person that you're talking to that feels othering. I
Yeah.
think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've been around people that, I mean, working in a hospital, I dealt with people that were, handicapable? I don't know what the right term is for it, but there was this thing of like, how can I act as normal as I can right now without making it seem like I'm trying to help this person out or looking down at them as like a problem or not a problem. There's the awkward area. And
Mhm.
that's sometimes how I feel white people are when they're talking to me about black people stuff. I feel like they're
Yeah.
like trying their best not to go poor. They're there, to me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
well, it's a sensitivity.
It is sensitivity, yeah. I mean, you don't know when I can snap. I don't know.
Mhm.
But
Um,
you were asking about, I mean, that's a shortcoming of mine. I've never really been much into history. I'm more into mechanical things and more into the future things. And it wouldn't matter
mhm.
whether it's black history, white history, or European history. It's just something that I really never was attracted to in a sense. But now, as I've gotten older, I do have more interest in people and historical things, but I never really had that much in the past.
How you feeling about it so far? How's it going? How's all the knowledge?
Well, I'm not that
Mm.
knowledgeable. I have a very limited knowledge, but that's why I enjoy that program that I told you about, finding your roots,
Yeah.
and because of my wife and what she enjoys watching and learning about, I've learned a little bit. But
Yeah.
like I say, my interests are more into how's the stock market doing, how
I'll tell you too
music.
something else. I can't, Grandpa, I can't hear you because your mic's too low again.
Now in music, I mean, I probably enjoy more black entertainers than I do white entertainers. I really do. I love Sammy Davis Jr. was one of my favorites, and when I was a kid, I loved Johnny Mathis. Uh, and I just I mentioned to you Art Tatum and Fat Waller, and over the years I've just you know I just love black music. When I many years ago I wanted to be a singer, a vocalist, and I hung around with a black soul group in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. A friend of mine was a songwriter, musician, and he trained groups for all the top, some of the top groups that are, recording artists, and he would train them for the road or train them for recording. The big companies like RCA and Reprise and those would hire him, and I hung around with all these fellas for a while. And we used to go to a church on Sunday, and his name was Warren Sams, and his father was a minister, and he would drink a pint of whiskey and smoke some pot, and
Mhm.
Bishop Monger would play uh, the uh, the organ, and Warren would play the piano, and we would get up and sing, and the women would all sit there and watch us. It was an interesting thing in Watts, California, but that's like 30
Mm.
years ago, so 40
Yeah.
years ago. Yeah.
I
So I
think
don't
we're
have to
moving in
say
the right.
anything about it. Pardon?
Yeah. Now, I would just say I think we're moving in the right direction because I think another reason how I view, or another way I view prejudice or racism or being treated differently is when someone talks to me differently. I think I can tell the difference between you just enjoy mechanics and being aloof to it all, like race wise, like all I see is numbers and mechanics compared to someone that is overdoing their white consciousness of them being aware of things. I think that, at least to me personally, it rubs me the wrong way when I can tell someone knows that they're white and I'm black. Because then deep down, if I was really start asking questions, I would think that deep down you know that it's bad to be black, and that's why you're treating me this way. And that means you think that kind of, even though you say you don't, but you're treating me like I'm different. Let's just talk about music and enjoy ourselves and mechanics and treat me like a human. I don't need to be treated as um, a problem. I think that's some of my like red flags when I see someone when someone tells me they're not racist or tells me they're like whatever black people stuff. My red flags go up the more and more you let me know I'm different. If you get what I'm saying, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, go.
Oh,
We
I
can't
think your
hear
mic's
you.
muted, Sierra.
I was just gonna say, Phines, you literally what you just said, you gave me like 8 high school flashbacks.
I don't know if Finest
Now it's
froze or.
frozen.
We lost.
Yeah, my computer's kind of freezing up.
We're
What happened?
devastated.
Yeah,
I've been in like all
am I back? I
PWIs
can hear you guys again.
like my whole education. So
I'm going to walk out for one moment.
okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I feel like I'm used to being the token black person places, and I don't think I would ever known if people would just been to act right. They would have just been like, "Hey, we don't even notice that black guy in the corner. He just is just like us." But I'm sure someone let me know
Yeah.
by going, "Hey, guess what? I don't see color. I don't see it. I'm just gonna talk to you, you person that I don't see color of. I don't see your color." I'm like, "Oh, cool. I hope you say it to everybody. Hope everyone in this room. This guy's colorblind.
He needs medical attention.
Someone help him get home. He has to drive home today. He may not be able to see the red light and the green light because they get that mixed
Yeah.
up. He didn't even
Red,
know it was black."
green, white, black.
When I was in college, when I first started college, there was a girl from my high school who went there with me. And I was just talking. I was like, "Hey, how's your, orientation been?" She's like, "Oh, it's so great. I've been like going this and there, and I had lunch here, and I blah 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 blah. And I've been hanging out with Michael. He's really nice. He's really cool." And I was like, "Oh, which one's Michael? There's like 60 people here." She's like, "Oh, Michael." And I was like, "I don't know who Michael. I literally I don't. Did he go to school with us?" And she's like, "No, Michael. He's like really tall, and he's always hanging out with so and so and so and so. He's on the baseball team." I was like, "Which one is it?" And I was like, "Just say it." And she's like, "Oh. I was like, "Damn, she like you really can't say it." And I was like, "Is this the black person?" Yes. Linda.
Yeah.
Because I want to introduce you. Hi. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to introduce you to my wife. This is Linda, and this is Phines, and this is Sierra, and this guy, I don't know his name, and this is Mark.
Hi, Linda.
Hey,
I don't think
Welcome.
Linda can, because Grandpa's got the headphones in.
Tonight's an unusual evening. Oh, you can't hear them. Oh, okay. Here. Tonight's an unusual evening because we don't have any regular guests. I'll put these on for a minute.
Oh, ouch. Everyone's.
They were asking me. Oh, turn this over. Here. Turn
adorable.
this over. Here, I'll do it.
They met on,
No, just
I
leave
think,
it.
a dating site like 10 years ago, like an app, like a dating app.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're asking
They're
me
such a
about
cute
Black
couple.
History Month. Hold on to this for a minute. And I don't know that much, but you do.
I don't know everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can't hear them now, but you can.
Okay. No,
Okay.
it's
Linda, how are you?
okay.
How
Fine.
have you been, Linda?
Okay. Yeah. He just dragged me out of the other room.
Put you on the spot.
Yep. Pretty much.
So cute.
here's a random guy and two black people. We're talking to them about black people. Black History Month.
Dude.
So so Bart's telling us you're really big on diversity, especially when you're watching different shows, and you're really good about diversity in your media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, I just think I just grew up that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up with it. Went to schools and never had a problem with anybody in my whole life. So, I don't know what to say exactly. I get tongue tied now. So,
Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
Philadelphia, West
Okay.
Philadelphia. Yeah.
Nice.
So,
Born and raised.
yeah, born
Yeah.
and raised.
What I grew up on.
Went to
Spent
Girls
most of
High.
your days.
Yeah. There you go.
Uh, Went to Shaw Junior High School.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they don't
so
know these. They're not
well,
from
no,
this,
they're not from this
from
area.
this
But anyway, I
They
was
wouldn't know.
through West Philadelphia, Overbrook.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, the same area that Bart grew up in, bigger houses than I did. That's all. But yeah, my mother was a hairdresser, and I'm a hairdresser, so it is just an ordinary working class family, pretty much.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
about you?
Nice.
How about you?
Sierra,
You grew
or
up-
me?
Oh, Chicago area. I'm in the Chicago area
Chicago?
right now. So
Okay.
big Illinois gang over here.
And I know.
I'm from Indiana, but I live in New York now, but born and raised in Indiana. So,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
I was just reading some reports about. Sorry. Were you gonna say
No,
something?
what you about to say?
I had just seen a bunch of reports. I think it's from 2019 about how Illinois and the Midwest has some of the most segregated metropolitan areas in the whole country. Like we like to blame a lot of our bullshit on the South and everything like that, but there are multiple clusters of areas in the Midwest where the poverty rate of black families, black households versus white households is like astronomically segregated. The school systems are ridiculous, and they tracked the levels of white flight in a lot of these metropolitan areas from the cities out to the suburbs across the Midwest, and it's astronomical. There's some places here in the Midwest and like central Illinois where the level of segregation in the metro areas is the same as it was in like the 70s or 80s.
I would have to say Philadelphia would be on par with that.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially like the poorer sections would be North Philadelphia, some parts of South Philadelphia, and it would be probably minorities. Excuse me, I would say.
Yeah.
But then again, there would be pockets of in South Philadelphia, it would be like a cluster of Italians. I mean, years ago, that's where they came off the ships, from New York and came right to Philadelphia.
Mm.
And then there would be the Irish neighborhoods. It was kind of a mix with the white neighborhoods, but yeah, definitely there was like a line. You could almost see the line,
Mm-hmm.
down a certain, where one side would be Italian and the other side would be minority, and the other side would be, say, Irish. And what Catholic church wouldn't leave the Italians in, and the other Catholic church wouldn't leave the Irish in. And yeah, I would definitely say that's big time in Philadelphia too. Well, it's no different.
And, from what you said, Sierra, about North and South, it's super interesting because I was talking to someone in Atlanta, and they were like, like a lot of people up north are like, oh, the South, so very racist, but they were saying like having lived in Atlanta, they like look back at their time living in like, I forget what it was, Connecticut or something, Northeast, right? And saying like, holy fuck, it's like literally segregated, like literally like lines of, as opposed to like the city down here is not
That's
that
crazy.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Linda. First, I'll have. Can you picture? Yeah, the mic is like right there. It's perfect.
Okay.
So I can hear you better. I was gonna say that. Trying to tie those together a little bit. Bart was saying that you get along with everyone and all this, blah 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 blah. Do you think that you working as a hairdresser, and your mom as, and you living going to a school that's all mixed, and I'm basically saying, is your social class have to do with your maybe acceptance to other races because you're almost stuck because you're around them more often than maybe if you were like in that next social class. I know social classes don't it isn't all the answer. It's not just because of that, but do you think that's helped you out with your
I would
um
have to say, yeah. I would have to definitely say, yeah, because it takes away the fear of the other
yeah.
or someone that doesn't look like you, or
Mhm.
whereas if you go to school and it's you make friends no matter what color or whatever religion, whatever. I think it's much easier to see people as people and not just someone over there. You
Yeah,
know where I'm
yeah.
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, I think
I
it's much
completely
easier.
agree.
Yeah, much
Um
easier.
I think that 'cause I played sports most of my life too, and what made I think me a lot it made it a lot easier for me to be able to not treat at least colors that much. I don't know about genders and
Mhm.
people's bodies physiques, but at least race wise, I played with so many different races that it got pretty like hard to treat different people differently, and that was a blessing in disguise because I think if I hadn't been around those many people, I would have been like those are other, and I don't know how to act around
Exactly.
them. Um,
Exactly.
just like I was saying with me playing sports, it took me a while to get used to people that were a different like athletic. They weren't athletic built. Then I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
they must be lazy or something like that. Until again, I started working in a world, being around more people that are different. Is when I was
Hmm.
able to go like, ah, they're no different than me. Just different. Yeah, um, that's pretty cool. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
How do you think then? I know this is a hard question to ask. How would you get someone in like the 1% or it's really really far? They're all segregated. How would you? What would you do to help them out to make them like more like okay with the other?
Uh, I would just suggest that they meet other people. I mean, you have to be inclusive. You can't just stay in
No, it's true.
your own
That's
little
true.
hole and not go out and put yourself out there somehow. I mean, you just can't
Yeah.
sit back and just say, "Oh, I'm not going to go there because X, Y, Z." I mean, you have to get involved a little bit. I told Bart this a while ago. My family is my mother's my mother's mother was okay. It would be my grandfather, but he was not my biological grandfather. My grandmother was divorced and married somebody else, and Grandpa Charlie was Grandpa Charlie, no matter what. And only when I was an adult did I realize that he was what they called passing his whole life
Oh
for
wow.
white. I
Yeah.
did not know that until I was an adult. I never thought twice about it. The way he looked, the way he acted, it never occurred to me that he was anything but Grandpa Charlie, or that it wasn't accepted, or it was. But that's my mother's side of the family. I mean, my cousin has interracial marriages in his side of the family too. It would be my mother's cousins. So I guess I was just accepting uh, because I was brought up that to accept differences. I mean,
Mhm.
Yeah.
people were people, and
Yeah.
so I mean, I think people should just look at people as people if they can. I mean, without seeing differences. And I don't know. I don't know what the real answer is. I'm not a
No,
genius over here,
I
but
actually really think you hit the. No, I really think you hit the nail on the head about like people just need to go talk to other people and be around other people, and that means for
if they can get over themselves, yeah.
if they
So,
can, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
it's for every group, from like the person at the very bottom to the person at the very top. You should try your best to, if equality and treat people the same is your goal,
Hmm.
you probably should, yeah, go talk to different people and get more experience.
And you can't put
Um,
on other people your problems. I mean, you can't say, oh, like they do with the, of course, getting into politics here.
but go ahead.
Uh, our illustrious former president used to put it all on the Mexicans, and they're coming and taking your
Mhm.
jobs, and yada
Mhm.
yada yada. I mean, your your problems are not that the person over there is taking anything away from you. Your problem is that you have to apply yourself for yourself. You can't blame somebody else for your own inadequacies.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking to blame someone, look in the mirror. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
It's so much easier to blame someone else, though. Look in the mirror. It's hard.
They're holding me
And-
down. No, they're not. They're
and
not the one
sometimes-
holding you down.
And a lot of the times when we hear that kind of rhetoric, has nothing to do with it's not even a matter of looking in the mirror. Sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with you, but that's the way that they like to spin things. They'd rather you point your focus on, this other brown person or this other that you don't understand, and therefore they could be causing you problems because you don't know anything about them, rather than looking outward and seeing, okay, well, why is this happening? Okay, well, how did my boss get like this $85 million bonus, but also somehow manage to lay off, 2 million employees? That they like to, they spin that on purpose to make us fight each other. Really, we're what is it called when you like tear each other down? Like
you fight for the scraps at the bottom.
we're crabs crabs in a barrel.
You're-
You're fighting for scraps. You're crabs in the barrel. We're pulling each other down instead of focusing on like the actual problem.
Yeah. Yep.
It just, call me so gullible, but it's hard for me to believe that someone consciously makes that decision. I would think that it's something that they're not aware of, like their inadequacies they're not aware of. So, and it's because of that they do these other things. But
No,
I
think it consciously happens at least half of the time. I think it's
Wow.
a very effective technique for people to get what they want, and fuck it.
It's just
they
not
think it's their
that-
survival. So
Yeah, it's just hard for me to understand the justification of those things without going, that's a little evil, Like I guess I just keep thinking the better of people. I'm like, goodness, and they didn't do this on purpose. They did this on some other, like, it must be some like
yeah,
different perspective. Or
I
reality.
think people can be evil both unconsciously or
You think
bigoted or
people
racist
redlining
at
you
this
on purpose. You think that-
unconsciously and consciously at the same time. I think there's like two levels going on.
Finest. Spoken like a man who's never seen $2 million in cash.
I know, right? Every time I put my hands in my pockets at a grocery store and people look at me, they're not doing that. That's not an accident. They're doing that on purpose.
Yes,
They
man.
think I'm stealing.
Who, me? Not me.
Who, me?
No.
Nah, it couldn't be. It just no. They
When
must
people-
be.
When people follow you in the store, but they don't really want to help you.
I just turn around and go, I know you want to help. It's okay. Come help. Come help.
I'd be in the store with my mom, and at a certain point, she'd just be like, "Hi, can I help you?" Like, no. She just seems mad.
Yeah, that is funny. That was one of the first situations where I found out about someone following me. My sister got mad at someone following me in a store, and I didn't even know if someone was following me. How, like I said, gullible I was. I was just like walking around, and then I was like, "Oh, people follow you." In stores.
Wow, what great customer service they
They
have
got
in
time
the
like
store.
that,
yeah. Always want to
Yeah.
help. Crazy. Yeah.
We love it.
I'm going to turn it back over to you, honey. I'm dying hot in here. I am very hot in here. He keeps the room too warm for me. So,
It's okay.
Get you some iced tea, Linda. You're the
Yes,
best
I
in
am.
town.
Nice talking to you, Linda.
Nice to meet you.
Nice talking to
Aren't
you
they?
guys.
They're a really nice couple.
She's delightful. I'm
Yeah, I'm
Team
really
Linda.
happy.
I couldn't
My,
hear that conversation.
My grandpa was single for like 40 years.
She's the bee's knees. She's the best. I love her.
Grandpa too, right?
Yeah, whatever, sure. But
The reason
Linda,
Yeah, the reason
No,
I
I
put
was
her
saying
on is that
Grandpa
she-
loves her too.
Yeah, she truly has not a grain of prejudice in her. I know who she is.
You come to prove me wrong.
right?
Yo, he
He did. I was
literally,
laughing,
I was like,
He's
oh my god.
He's like, well, I don't know your wife, so blah, blah, blah. He's like,
I
oh,
thought he
really?
was-
Well, you about to get in here.
I thought he was going to pee or something. He was like, here's my fucking wife. Like,
Look at her
Put
balls.
these on. Put these on. Take the mic. Lay down your facts, Linda.
yeah.
She's so
she
great.
She was so thrown off guard.
She's great.
That's hilarious. You know
Very
what?
nice lady.
I couldn't hear it. I didn't have headphones on, so I didn't.
I understand.
know what
I would
you
do
were
anything to prove a point as well. Get over here.
Finest would get married just.
I would, just to prove a point.
yeah, yeah. Well, here's my yeah.
Ooh, I'm crying. I think I'm just gonna label this episode like something really sensational, like racial tensions run high, or
Yeah.
we'll never
Well,
talk about this again. It's gonna be
we'll
something
get
clickbaity.
140 viewers as opposed to 38.
It'll be something sensational, so they listen
No,
to the Black
we gotta
History
pick
Month
really, gotta
episode.
pick really good on it. Really good girl.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Just throw a hashtag on there.
I still, speaking of all this, we're talking about all this deep old stuff, right? About race and blah, blah, blah. If I do a GoFundMe right now, I will get nothing. Very little.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what if someone asks me, or asks you, Brandon, you could get $14,000 to a racial group that would help equality. All you gotta do is put glue on your head. Would you do it?
Would I put glue on my head to help others?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I would put glue on my head to help myself. So yeah, I mean, it's an easy like. Yeah, y'all didn't let me answer the first. You were like, "Oh, I would not do 14." I was like shocked. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?
He said,
Like, this isn't gonna last for a lot longer. I want to shave my head anyway. I mean, come on." Yeah, I think I would, but yeah, I
now
mean,
now if that was asked to me, would I put glue on my head to get
I don't
14?
think you.
it depends on which people. Like, if I'm just doing it for like
Do I still get the followers on Instagram too?
ASPCA,
Well, that's the thing, right?
no.
Is like, I don't think that I don't know her name, but I don't think that she intended to do it. But like, it was a choice to go on TikTok and be like, I mean, somewhere, some part, she had to know, like, well, I'm gonna, oh, this might get a lot of likes, this post.
If you're, I mean, it's a month afterwards too. So if it happened a month afterwards, I'm so ashamed that I don't think I would even go on any social media. She's like, this is my chance. Let me tell you people how much of a fool I am.
She said that this was her last chance. Like, she had run out of options, couldn't think of any other way to get rid of it or figure out a solution. Maybe she thought, I don't know, maybe she was trying to like crowdsource. I clowned her so hard at the beginning, but I still do feel really bad for her. Like, maybe she thought, you know, somebody would come together and be like, oh, my stupid kid glued his cousin and then this is what we did. And I don't know.
No, the initial.
Did you contribute? Did you contribute
to the GoFundMe?
Well, you're part of the problem, Sierra.
I thought it caps out once you reach your goal.
I don't feel that bad. I don't feel that bad. No. You can always go over.
Yeah, you can.
You might be able to set caps, but I think generally you can always. I've seen tons of people go over.
Yeah. I just wanted to make one more point on what Phines was saying about like intentionality or not. I feel like I don't know. It made me think a lot about like scapegoats, black sheep. Like it. I think it's really easy for people to like consolidate like, well, this is for my family, or this is, you know, it's all survival, to throw I mean to increasingly get like acts worse and worse and worse, the Holocaust, you know. But yeah not to bring it back, but
no, it's fine. I looked at my phone and didn't hear a little bit of it, so I was like, what did he say about the Holocaust?
I was saying that I am gonna start a GoFundMe.
Oh, good.
Fuck my hair up, and yeah, I don't know.
Cry about it.
No, I was basically like it never surprises me how evil people will go under like the guise of ignorance.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
That's basically. Yeah, sorry.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say real quick. That's basically how slavery started. You know, people came here and they were like, "Man, this shit's gonna be a lot of work. Is there any way?" And then they found the native people and they were like, they're probably dumb. They can't possibly be like us. We'll enslave them. And then some idiot priest was like, guys, listen, we can't be abusing these native people like this. They have feelings and pain tolerances and functioning brains like all the rest of us. You know what would be a good idea, though? All those Africans over there, okay? They are basically just horses that walk on 2 feet. They've got a higher pain tolerance. They don't feel anything. They don't think that good. That would be perfect. That's perfect livestock right there. That's what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess this is a whole nother thing. I need another hour for this, but I mean, a group of people that left their country, their continent, whatever they left, because they're just so. I mean, sorry to get so into it. Those people that came, it's like the politicians that you were saying earlier in the very beginning, like narcissistic people. But someone that wants to leave the church or leave the kingship because they think they have something better, or they think that God told them to leave. Of course, they're going to go to a country and go, God told me that I'm better than you, and I'm going to spread the word.
Yeah.
It just, I mean, and
Yeah.
they just brought more people that were like that same mindset. It does
Mhm.
not
Sure.
surprise me why I'm in the situation I am in right now in America as a black person. If
Yeah.
from the get go, all the people came in here thinking that they were God's gift to earth and that they had to spread the word of that they know special stuff. There is no, like, maybe if some monk that was like, hey, we're all stardust, bro. We're all the same. Everything is everything. You can be reincarnated as a rock. I would be like,
Sure.
okay,
Sure,
you're
but
cool.
there's also people getting exterminated by Buddhists in some countries, right? I think it's like it's that somehow, some way, like, and we haven't changed that much, like person to person, like the evil or whatever that's bad, like it's still, like one, like, all going from uh when this country was like, when white people came here, but also like just like in thousands and thousands of years humans are the same,
Yeah.
right? Like
Well,
the
humans are
same
trash.
coding.
We're the real monsters. I get that. But you know what? I'll take my I'll take my chances on being colonized by a group of monks than a group of Christians in the sense of that.
Yeah.
I mean, just in
Yeah.
their rhetoric. I think that the chances of me being a slave for one and the other, I think, I know the Buddhists may have just exterminated a group of people, but I don't really know about it. But I do know a lot about other religious groups doing some really bad things
Sure.
because
Sure.
of their
Of
thinking that
course.
they're God's gift to earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
they
this,
they would think they're God's gift to earth no matter what, like and people do like
yeah.
think that, everybody's their own protagonist, and you know
I thank God this morning for making me, and
it's
it's
so
like
good
thank
looking. You're like, God damn, dude.
God. Yeah, like
I
God
got
looking at me.
what 1 in 7 billion just to be here, and I look like this. Fuck,
Oh my
like.
god.
I saw an auto tag today. It said "chosen one," and I thought to myself, "Chosen for what?"
Yeah, grandpa, you love those auto tags. Always reading. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is that the end of this episode?
I think now it is.
We're at
All right.
time.
Yeah, it's a good time. The person look up if you want to do some Black history research. Audre Lorde. Look up Audre Lorde. She's dope.
Cool.
Unsung hero.
Is that a writer or what type of person is
Oh,
it?
she's an essayist, but she's also an activist. She's a lesbian black activist, which is probably really, really close, especially like except for like transgender people, black people. They're at the very, very bottom of the barrel of society being treated. And we should probably listen to them the most because once they're treated with the same rights that we're treated, then we'll probably be at a good point in the world. So
Did you say
if there's any
Adrian?
no Audre Lorde. She also talks about the patriarchy quite a bit, so it's really cool.
Audre.
She has a lot of stuff to talk about, guys, so we can check ourselves and check our privilege as well. So she's dope.
I'm sorry, Phines. I need you to spell that again
Yeah, I got
slowly
you.
for me.
It's okay. It's Audre, and then her last name is Lorde, which is Lorde.
DE.
Yeah, she's an
Okay.
essayist. She has some pretty
So,
good. Yeah.
Aubrey Lord.
Audrey
Got
Lorde.
it.
Yep.
D
Okay.
is in Denver.
Yeah.
Audrey.
Audrey. Yeah.
Oh, Audrey.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. My bad.
D-R-E. Okay.
I'd
Yeah.
I
recommend
have a
to Sierra
hearing
you
problem.
would read Man-Child by her, the essay.
Ooh.
You would definitely, if it's your vibe, I mean, if it's, you would like
Ooh.
it.
It sounds amazing. I can't wait. I'm gonna
Yeah.
find it. And
Yeah.
you guys can listen
Plug
to
the
Seizing Freedom
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
BPM on Spotify, all these other places.
Yeah. And Sierra is an incredible voice actress. She actually does the voiceover, and people don't even realize for the end of our show. So,
Yeah, that's me, gang. What a good episode. What a fun
and
time.
Grandpa, I love you. That's a
I
wrap.
miss you, Brandon.
I do too. Listen, the real thing I was gonna say, like my real complaint was that like I live alone now and it's just super super lonely, and it's like such a mind trip because I literally am like in front of boxes of people like at least 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and but like yeah, it's like I very much miss you, and I hope that we can
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I hope we can get together. I'm hoping to get a COVID shot pretty soon.
I'm calling the governor of Pennsylvania and I'm gonna tell him to get his shit together because
What the
Barton
fuck?
needs a damn
Nene
vaccine.
Nene got one already. Like
I
Nene,
heard that. Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. She needs it, so it's good. But yeah.
I'm
yeah,
calling that
hopefully-
hotline. I'm gonna Karen all over the place.
Hopefully, when we all get one, maybe one day we'll all sit in the same room and record on one of your video cameras, Grandpa.
That would be great.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd enjoy that.
It's gonna be wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the show.
Podcasting with Grandpa Bart and Rosie, always on his shoulder. This is Grandpa and Chill.
Grandpa and Chill is brought to you by your hosts, Brandon Fox, Bart Frank, and Phines Jackson. Our producer is Sierra Doss. You can find episodes old and new on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch the show, and follow us on Twitter for behind-the-scenes moments you can't get anywhere else.